Well, good morning all. Welcome to a beekeeping session with yours truly, Brian. Now this morning, good morning all, I've got about 4 maybe inspections to do, depending on what we find and what we get up to. So I've got 4 hives, and I'd like to get through them all. But as you can see up there, if you're on my GoPro video, you'll see that it's about to rain. It's about an hour away. So with a bit of luck, I'll share this for the other viewers. Here we go, turn it around. That be rain coming. So hopefully we get some good beekeeping happening. Now, I'd like to introduce you all. Firstly, you might have noticed I put my gloves on. Some beekeepers don't use that kind of PPE. Some do it without any sort of protection, which is fine if you like taking those chances. I personally don't like being stung more than I have to be. So we just take precautions, smoke them up. It's important to note that this is a long Langstroth hive, by the way. I've got 2 Langstroths there with bees and 1 empty Langstroth, and this long lang. And the long lang doesn't make as much honey as the others. But I tell you what, it's always my favourite to work on, because look at this, so easy to work on, waist height, you know, it's all there. It does have some peculiarities though. Now I should point out that because I'm above the snow line in winter, this long lang has been insulated. So when we take the top off, you'll see that this is the timber that it came with. Underneath this is styrofoam insulation, and then we've got about another 7mm of ply, all painted up for some protection. So you can see that this is not your, if I had it like this, just the pine, they struggled for the first few years, they really did. And there we go. Sorry girls. They don't like smoke. I don't blame them. Smoking's bad for you. I don't care what the cigarette companies say, smoking's bad for you. Give that 30 seconds. Now, it's been 2 weeks since I last looked, or a week since I last touched this hive. This one's on high rotate with me at the moment. I'm trying to really build up its honey stores. That's good. We haven't built up lots of stuff there. And what I'm trying to do with this hive is really build out this honey, because this hive traditionally hasn't made a lot of honey. So I really want it to max out its honey stores for the winter. And I've made a decision not to harvest from this hive this year. I'm just going to let it build. And we can see some honey happening there, but those other 2 are empty. And what I'm doing here, by the way, this is a feeding frame, just for the viewers at home. It's a feeding frame, it takes about 3.5 litres. And what I do is I put sugar syrup in there. Just 1:1 at the moment. Just 1:1. Let's have a quick look at you girls. Now for those of you that are wondering what this thing on my head is, it is a GoPro. And GoPros are a really neat little invention for beekeepers who like to share beekeeping videos, which I do. This is a GoPro Hero 13 Black, and it's shooting in 4K, and best of all, it's shooting hands-free. So I give people a really good point of view. Ooh, this feels a bit bound up maybe, this one. I wonder what they've been doing in here. It feels like they've been building some burr comb. And again, for the viewers at home, if you don't know what burr comb is, it's comb that the bees build on top of the frames, and it's sort of, it can be a bit of a frustrating for a beekeeper to work with. Oh, this feels heavy, so yeah, look at that, we've got some burr comb on there. Better give these girls some smoke or they'll come hunting for me. There you go girls, sorry. So let's just give you something to think about over there for now. Unfortunately, burr comb. So you can see this honey here, how it's got a clear nature to it. That's the sugar honey that I was talking about. It's not the same quality as normal honey, but it will provide a useful food source for them during the winter. And I don't think this hive is in any real danger of swarming. Nevertheless, I am going to have a look for some drone cells. I'm really hoping I find some, because I want to uncap them and just check for varroa. And to me, that is the easiest way to check for varroa. Otherwise, I'll have to do a wash of some sort at some point soon. So that's got a bit of weight in it. That's about half full, which is lovely. This one's just been capped out, which is also lovely to see. A lot of weight in this one. So between them, they've probably got about one full frame there. Let me introduce you to one of my other favourite tools as well. This is a frame grabber, and makes things a lot easier for me. Again, probably about half to 2/3 full. But if you're inspecting, I find it's a good idea just to separate the hives, separate the combs first. Otherwise, if you're trying to grab them, you're grabbing them while they're all anchored together, and it's just hard work. So this is a lot easier. There we go, look at that. Now, I last looked at this about 2 weeks ago. They just started to fill it out. This one feels about 75% full. There's a lot of weight in that. There's some good honey in there too, but I'm just going to leave it like I said. So we've got honey, 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 honey. It's 5. This looks like a honey frame. 6. If this hive gets 6 frames of honey, they'll be fine for the winter. And you know what? That looks exactly like what they're doing here. That one's filling out as well. So still got a fair bit of room in there. What about this one? Now, fun fact about this hive, I actually used it to help me with another hive that I'm building, my little baby hive. So if you look at my channel, and do subscribe, by the way. Do subscribe. Just trying to grow the channel. But yeah, I used it in my baby hive. We had so many baby bees going on in this thing that I thought, now there we go. So we've got some brood. I'm looking for drone brood, can't see any. I'm getting hit by a few bees. They're letting me know they're not happy about what I'm doing. And for the record, they can actually sting through this style of hat. We've got one drone brood there, one single solitary drone brood. Oh no, we've got a few there. We have a few. Not enough though. I was hoping for heaps of them. That's alright. So yeah, I've been keeping bees now for about 6 years. Super fun hobby. I started out with one hive, as you do. I lost a hive or two along the way in the winter because it snows here and I didn't insulate, so you can imagine the poor girls weren't too happy. But once I started to insulate, they did really, really well. So we've got a queen cup. I can see brood there, so you know we're queen right, which is good. This one's definitely mostly a brood cell, brood frame. I'm still looking for all of that drone brood that I want to see. And like I say, I only want drone brood so I can have a really good session checking for varroa. Because in Melbourne, varroa is here now. And while I'm here, I'm also looking at that brood, looking for signs of mites. Now, I'm up in the Dandenong Ranges, by the way, which is way out on Melbourne's outer east. Which means we're a fair way away from where everything else is, but varroa's travelled all the way from Newcastle in a little over 2.5 years. So sad. Probably because beekeepers keep moving beehives. People buy bees from areas with varroa. I mean, really, it travelled from New South Wales all the way down to Melbourne in less than a year. That's 1,000 kilometres. Tell me that's not a hive in the back seat of someone's car. Here we go. Lots of brood. Busy queen, which is what we want to see. That wasn't probably very good of me to actually tap it like that. You heard the bees get all excited. Oh, here's a tip for young players, by the way, new players. When you're handling beehives, gentle is the key. Gentle is always the key. Gentle, 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 if you can. Can't always be gentle when I'm scraping off burr comb. Oh, look at that. Yeah, brood everywhere. Normally you'd expect to see, big mass of bees down there. You'd normally expect to see honey right at the entrance, not brood. So that's a little unusual. These girls aren't too happy with me, are they? Now start pulling it all back into shape. I don't like to leave it too far apart. You do want it nice and snug. As you can see, if you're watching this on the GoPro, the bees are definitely telling me they don't appreciate their home being pulled apart. I don't blame them. It's okay, girls, we'll put it back together again now. Super productive, I know. Yes, I know you can't understand me. That's okay. If you're a beekeeper, do you talk to your bees? I guess it's kind of hard not to. I mean, there's no one else around to talk to. Which is one of the reasons I started doing YouTubes, by the way. Because it just gives me, I guess, some kind of company, some community. So, if you're interested in bees, by all means subscribe. Like I said, I am trying to grow the channel. That wasn't meant to happen, but that's okay. We can fix it up. We can fix anything. So, all in all, just to sum up, I've had an inspection of my hive. I didn't do an invasive varroa check. However, I did do a check. And I did that by looking in the hives, in the cells where you've got larvae. And I looked at about 100 of them. Now, just because I couldn't see varroa doesn't mean it's not here. However, it's quite encouraging. And like I say, being up in the hills above the snow line, I think it's going to take a little bit longer to get up here because bees don't generally travel far up here. Interesting, I've got a little bit of wax moth down there. It's running for its life. Very good. Now it's time to feed the hive. And feeding the hive is really simple. This is sugar water. Sugar and water. Now I used to feed 1-to-1. Before winter I switched it into 2-to-1. At the moment this is running at 1.5 sugar to 1 water, so 1.5 to 1. It's got about 3 kilos of sugar in there, and the bees will hopefully convert most of that into a form of honey, which they will use to get through the winter. Sorry girls. Which is what we all want. And that's as easy as it gets. Now, see how you've got bees struggling in there? Because I've got, see that? Because I've got these floating twigs in there, the bees can get out. If I just used what the manufacturers provided, which is the little ribs on the inside of the plastic thing on the feeder, it's actually not rough enough for the bees to grip, so they drown. I don't like that, so I put those floaty things in there. It's just some fern, dried fern fronds, and it floats and the bees can get out. How good is that? Alright, so look at all these bees all clustered. They can smell the queen down there most likely. However, I don't want to put the lid down on them, that wouldn't be nice. And we're just going to move them along. There you go, girls. Yeah, they can definitely smell their hive. And now let's put the lid down. And ladies and gentlemen, that is one of the reasons I love my long Langstroth. It is such an easy hive to work on. Anywho, that was a bee inspection on my long Langstroth. We checked for honey, we checked for pests. Just a casual check this time. Yeah, long Langstroth. Do subscribe. More beekeeping videos to follow. Some on GoPro, some on Apple iPhone 15 Pro Max.